Have you seen the most recent commercials on Boston that's been advertising here in New York? You know, having this lame-ass slogan, Boston never gets old.
Yeah, unfortunately, I saw that lame-ass commercial.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and I started laughing.
So what you think?
First, they saw NYC doing it for years.
Right.
Now they want to do it just to invite New Yorkers there.
When I saw it, I just rolled my eyes and I was like, what? Ever. Have you noticed how that Boston commercial never shows some of the best things about Roxbury, Dorchester, and Mattapan in those recent commercials?
Why
is
bro,
that?
You know they ain't gonna show that.
I forgot. It's the hood. It's the ghetto. Of course, Boston ain't gonna show that side of the city in their commercials. Are you kidding me? Because in the minds of some Bostonians, Roxbury, Dorchester, and Mattapan are irrelevant. That ain't me saying that. That's the powers that be who put these damn commercials about Boston never gets old. It never gets old still being racist. It never gets old still being toxic. It never gets old still picking and choosing. Let me cut through the chase and tell you why they're really putting out these Boston commercials here in New York City. And we're not just talking about revenue for their marketing brand.
No.
Here in the city of New York, this city has been putting out commercials in major cities like Boston for decades, not years.
Yeah, right.
Decades. We all know the New York theme song for years being played in these commercials back in the day.
Yeah.
I love New York.
Yeah.
We're familiar with that song.
Of course.
Even most people from Boston knows that song,
Well, duh.
whether they want to admit it or not.
They know it.
The only two songs most people from the city that's related to Boston is I Love That Dirty Water
Boston,
and
You're My Home.
Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Neil Diamond when he sings Sweet Caroline.
Me too.
But why does Boston have to butcher the song when Neil Diamond sings the chorus?
How it go?
Sweet Caroline, bum bum bum. Good times never seem so good. And that's it.
Yeah.
You don't hear no so good, so good. Shut the hell up. Why you gotta butcher the man's song? I can hear the original without that crap added in that song. But at the same time, nobody, in my opinion, beats Old Blue Eyes himself with the signature song, New York, New York, by the late great Frank Sinatra. I picked that over Dirty Water and Sweet Caroline any day.
For New York,
but anyways,
of course.
The reason for the Boston commercial advertisement shown in New York City is a response commercial to try and lure New Yorkers to visit the city of Boston. That's all it is. A response commercial. In my opinion, if you want to visit Boston on your time, I have no problem with that.
Right.
However, and this is just me, why the hell would I recommend somebody to come visit Boston of all cities? Why would I encourage black folks from other major cities across the country to come visit a toxic and racist city that always puts on a front where half the black population in that city never had a chance, nor was given a chance, nor was given an opportunity to be seen or heard in order to make it big, who some of their talent are going to waste because they were ignored and overlooked by their own city?
Majority of black folks in that city wouldn't know how to answer that.
No.
Knowing that they know somebody who has been screwed out of opportunities, been thrown under the bus.
Exactly my point. That's why I would never recommend black folks to come to Boston and have half your lives being disappointed and become discouraged, all because you wasn't picked nor chosen to be the face of Boston. Why should another black or brown talent be wasted more in a city where you are 10 times most likely to be rejected if you were not picked nor chosen to represent and be the face of that city?
Exactly.
Again, I wasn't given those chances because I was completely ignored on purpose. It don't have nothing to do with how much work you put into your community.
No.
The fact is, you can work hard busting your ass trying to put your city on the map and still get rejected by your city and your black and brown communities of Boston.
That's what I'm saying.
So therefore, Boston is a city known for picking and choosing, not coming together as one Boston.
Oh, no
If
way.
the city of Boston, along with the black communities in that city that has been ignored on purpose based on self-hate, then what the hell makes you think Boston ain't gonna do the same damn thing to you?
Right.
If you're lucky. Better yet, picked or chosen.
Yeah.
One of the fibs I don't like coming out of Boston is when I hear people say every black and brown person who lives in that city who got skills and the talent, and in my opinion should have made it big a long time ago, not the ones who already been picked and chosen. Those who have the skills and talent will make it in Boston. That is a lie. I am not going to lie for anyone and say that all black people can make it in Boston.
Now,
that
we know
is
that's
bullshit.
a goddamn lie.
What about some black folks who did win by the book, went by every procedure, doing everything right to rep Boston by putting their skills and their talent out there in their communities, trying to make it? But sadly, they were turned away and overlooked by the city that they thought had their backs. And now you have some black folks with that talent are now homeless.
Yes.
All because they were rejected by their own city and their own black communities, knowing that they had the skills that would have paid the bills.
Come on.
If I, as a black person, was living somewhere else in the United States and I really wanted to make it big, not just in the country, but all over the world,
yeah.
why the hell would I pick Boston out of all the cities as my new home, knowing the history of that city, where some black folks with all that amazing talent get no love from their own city nor their own black communities?
Nah, they
Why
don't.
waste all that energy in a city that don't want you?
I totally agree. So if not Boston, then where you think some blacks do have a chance of making it big, where they are seen and heard and not completely ignored and overlooked?
I would recommend top big corporate major cities like New York, like Atlanta, like Miami, like Chicago, like Los Angeles. Even if they don't make it big like an Usher or a Beyonce,
Yeah.
at least you have a chance of making it where you do have an opportunity to be seen and heard.
Right.
So therefore, if you are black and you trying to make it big, showing off your amazing talent and your skills, Boston is not the place.
No.
Unless you are fair-skinned or picked and chosen to be the face of Boston.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
And like I said, Boston can never compete with NYC, ATL, Miami,
Hell no.
Chi-Town,
No,
H-Town,
no,
LA.
no.
Why do I say that? Again, unlike Boston, these major cities I just mentioned have corporate marketing power where black and brown people have a chance to be heard and be seen for their talent and their hard work.
Of course.
Boston has no power on that type of level like these other cities have.
No, they do
I
not.
should know. The city of Boston is not, I repeat, it is not a huge corporate marketable city that is nowhere near or up there with the big dogs in power where black and brown folks can represent their talent to and have a chance of making it like what other corporate marketing cities are doing.
That's
Yes,
right.
Lord.
Boston ain't thinking about outside the box Negroes from their own city, who some do have a chance to make it big repping their city, while others currently living in Boston thinking inside the box, been trying for decades, and half of them ain't gone nowhere yet.
Right.
And we wonder why they're being held back with no fault of their own.
For real.
We know who's pulling the strings on who they pick and choose to represent Boston as the face of the city.
Hello.
And sadly, black folks who are moving into that city, trying to have a better future, God willing, ain't one of them.
I know that's
I can only
right.
give you a recommendation for your own good. Please do not waste your time coming to the city like Boston if you know you're about to get screwed. Because black folks, as we know it, get screwed long enough by both sides of the fence with systematic racism and systematic self-hate by Negroes in that city.
Yeah, right.
Please find another city where you have a better chance of making it. Boston, I know for sure, based on my years and experience, is definitely not it.
No, it is
Trust
not.
me.
It isn't.
Boston never gets old screwing people too. That's their specialty.
Ain't Boston beautiful?
It sure is. Beautifully racist and beautifully toxic.
That's it.
what never gets old in that city.
No.
Boston never gets old. Ha! Finish the sentence.
Exactly.
Stop playing with people.
For real.